Hi, YouTube. Oh, I'm a little dark, but I am a little dark. Welcome. This is the live. Okay, this is a little better. Here we go. This is the live. Welcome to Renew by L. This is a channel that is dedicated to self care for women. We struggle with self care. I have struggled with self care. So today I'm going to do something different. I've been posting about every week. I have been under the weather with this virus that's going on. And I have still been posting, but I decided just to come on here, at the last minute. So excuse the lack of a background, but I wanted to come on here and address some of the questions about the struggles that people have with self care. So I am going to take some questions off of the live. I did do a little bit of internet research to find what questions people have about self care and their struggles. I do have a couple of announcements, so stay tuned. I hope everybody is doing well on this Friday night. No, it's Saturday night. That just lets you know I don't even know what days of the week it is, child. It is Saturday night. I am located in the Midwest, so in Chicagoland area, where the winter has been kind of rough, but we have a day where it is a little bit cooler. So not not cooler, I'm sorry, a little bit warmer. Definitely not warm by any stretch of the imagination, but warmer to the point that it people can go and get their car washed and be a little bit more mobile, feel a little bit more comfortable. So I hope that everyone is doing well on this Saturday night, wherever you are. I hope that you are doing well and feeling well. I hope that I am able to give you some information that is valuable to shed some light, based on my perspective. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these questions and give you my perspective of what the answer is. So, hopefully, if you're watching that, that's what you're looking for is my perspective. So, the first question is I'm going to be random here. I got 5 questions here that I'm going to answer, but I'm trying to see what order I'm going to go in. So the first question is, how can I balance self care with family, work, and other obligations? So self care is typically something that unfortunately we see as an option. It is not a priority in the same way that our family, our work, and other obligations are. But what I'm really, really trying to promote is that self care is really not an option. It should be a high priority as our family and our work is, and other obligations, anything that we view as important. How we take care of ourselves should be at the top. When we don't take care of ourselves, we send the message to us that we are not even a priority, that we are not even at the top of our own list of priorities. So, how can we expect for other people to believe that? So, I'm ranting a little bit. So, how can you balance? Um, I am a therapist. I've been a therapist for over 20 years. And now I'm really focusing in my private practice, which I started recently, and is helping women to focus on taking care of themselves with whatever they present with in therapy. My first step is usually about how they take care of themselves. So, how can we balance all of these priorities? One of the tools that I use is we have to write out a schedule. Sometimes we write out a schedule when we think about our kids and all of their responsibilities and the clubs that they're in and They're on sports teams and all of the obligations they have outside of school, appointments and things of that nature. Sometimes we'll put those things on a calendar. And self care can be something that we put on a calendar. When we talk about family, we have obligations, we have things that we need to do for our family. We might have a family outing and we might, go through our week. Me personally, on Sundays, I go through my week. I look at my calendar and see what I have to do for my week to see what can be shifted. Am I meeting all of my responsibilities? I have some people who have running lists. With those running lists, if you don't want to transfer them to a calendar, you can also prioritize that list. The list could be, something that we need to do urgently, something that is priority, and something that we can um, delay, or something that does not have to be done right now. So the first thing to balance it is to first shift your mindset and set self-care as a priority. Because no matter what, if you don't establish self-care as a priority, it's not going to be able to be balanced in alignment with your family and work, because you don't see it as important. So, an important shift in all of this is our stance towards self care, or how we view self care. In life, a lot of things are not about the things, like the events. I am personally a breast cancer survivor. And so my well-being and my even being able to sit here with you today was not about the breast cancer. It was about how I viewed the breast cancer. Did I view it as something as death, or did I view it as another opportunity at life? I decided to view it as another opportunity at life instead of death. So we have to shift our mindset. So for this, you balance it by, number one, you make it a priority. Two, you might have to use some tools to integrate it into your life as a priority. And it does not have to be something that is a long, drawn out thing. We don't have the time to do all of those long, drawn out spa days. It's a place for those. But as far as doing those on a regular basis, we may not have time for. So you might be able to fit something in 10 minutes a day. But again, what we view as a priority, we will find time for. So the first shift is to see it as a priority. And then you'll be able to balance it because you'll see it as a priority. So you can use other tools to manage your time and integrate it slowly into your schedule. Okay. What are some ways to practice self care during the winter months? I did kind of touch on what is a struggle during the wintertime is, mobility. It's hard, to do things in the wintertime because it's cold, you don't want to go outside. Sometimes people have seasonal affective disorder, which is like depression or having a lower mood during the winter months, when we have less daylight, so we don't have as much access to the sun, which is energizing. And, we get out more in the summertime. We do things, we have more activities. We feel, a lot of us, more alive during those summertime months, where the sun is out. And in the wintertime, some of us may have a lower mood. So how do we practice self-care during the winter months? And bear with me here. I am a little biased because I am a gym rat. I've not been as consistent as should have been. So due to illness and, life is life. But, when something is a lifestyle, you have to put it down, you have to pick it back up, you have to, continue. It's an uphill battle. So I'm a huge, huge advocate of some sort of activity. I'm not going to say go to the gym. The gym is not for everyone. So I'm not going to tell everybody to go rush in the gym, you know, because again, it's not for everyone. But I believe that some activity is in order. Um, Activity and exercise is linked to uh, helping with mild depression. If you're dealing with mild depression, then some activity and exercise has been linked to helping to elevate your mood. So I'm going to say get up, go and take a walk. If you don't want to go outside because it's cold outside. Um, one thing that I used to love was Billy Blank's Tabo. I remember when it was 3 o'clock in the morning and I saw that first infomercial. I have been in love ever since. So if you have like some old exercise videos or YouTube is a wonderful tool for finding some things that you can do to implement activity at home. They have yoga, Pilates. For those who want to be more energetic, you may do Zumba. You can even find Billy Blanks on YouTube. You can find all types of activity that meet your needs. So even if we are confined to being at home, we can still have activity at home. And we can do some things that may not be conventional. My mother she likes to go up and down the stairs. That is a form of activity. Running the vacuum, like the things, you're just getting up and getting your body to move. You're to get the blood to flow. A body in motion stays in motion, and a body at rest stays at rest. So get up, get moving. Some other ways to practice self care during the winter months. It's just like the little things that we do to honor ourselves. Now, I'm gonna tell you something, and it's a little weird, and it is something, unfortunately, that my daughter has picked up also. But it is something about Vicks Vapor Rub across my nose that gives me energy. It makes me feel better. I think it's something with the scent. So you can play with aromatherapy. So you can like go to Bath and Body Works, or you can go and get like a nice little scent, lavender scent to help you relax, and or make up your bed and make your space comfortable. You have to make your physical space comfortable. That is something um, that I am really in appreciation of, is how your physical space is a reflection of your mental health, but it also can, the other way, affect your mental health. So just do little things to make your physical place more relaxing to you. So it says, can you name a character for an edit? I'm not sure what that means, Jason. Can you name a character for a edit? I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if you can clarify that for me in the chat. So I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. So what you can do is you could do aromatherapy, you can light candles. It's just about honoring yourself. So during the winter months, when you may feel lower, you can practice self-care by like revisiting what it is that you like to do. I remember before I got, I'm not sure, Jason, like where can you like say a character's name and make an edit about it? I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know how to do all of that. I'm sorry. So remember when you were a child, and before I started driving in the snow and ice, I really loved the snow. So during the winter months, you can go, You can play in the snow. Like, revisit your childhood and remember, how childhood is all about fun. In our lives as childs, all we did was pursue fun. We didn't even want to eat. I remember being in the neighborhood and I wanted to play all day. We had to play, we got to play all day during the summertime months. And our mothers used to have to call us in to actually eat and to drink. So just remember your childhood and the things that used to bring you joy in childhood. So remember what winter was like for you as a child and what you enjoyed. Like if you enjoyed playing in the snow, if you enjoyed hot cocoa. Sometimes we have to be reminiscent of our childhoods. What was it like in the wintertime in childhood and what did we enjoy to do? So those are some ways to practice self-care uh, during the winter months. How can I create a self care routine that sticks? This is a good question because a lot of times we start our self care routines. We are very optimistic about those self care routines, and then we kind of let them fall to the wayside. We don't stick with them. Um, A character name I know. Can I say a character name I know or a character that I know about? Like what? Bart Simpson? I'm not sure. So how can I create a self-care routine that sticks? So I did say that I have some new and exciting news. So I think that from my perspective, that a lot of times that our self-care routines do not stick is because we try to do like this cookie cutter form of self care that does not necessarily resonate or register with, thank you, Jason, um, that does not resonate with who we are as a self because the operative word in self care is self. So there are different parts of ourself, our psychological, spiritual self. And so we have to honor the total self and the components of self in order to have a self-care routine that sticks. So getting to know yourself and really tuning in to who you are is a way to have a self-care routine that sticks. Because if you're tuned in to who you are, then your routine is going to be able to adjust with you and what your needs are. And so I said Bart Simpson. That was the character I said from The Simpsons, Bart Simpson. Or you can use Snoopy. I like Snoopy too. So we have to have um, a self care routine that focuses on self. So that's the operative part. So we have to focus on ourselves for our self care routine, and then that can help it to stick. And again, back to the beginning, what helps it stick is your decision to make it stick, your decision to make it a priority and to make you a priority and to be in tune with yourself is how do you create and be consistent and be disciplined in it because it's easy for us to be consistent and disciplined in things when things are going well and all of everything else aligns for it to happen. But the true test is when life starts life and then we have to be consistent. I grew up in the 70s, so I grew up in a time where, like, your mother, or it was like a 9 to 5 job, or an auntie in your life, or an older lady in your life who was in the workforce would come home. What would they do? They would come home. They would go in that room and they would lock in that room for about a good hour, right? And so that was time that they said, don't talk to me, don't think of me, don't ask for me, don't breathe on me, don't call mama, don't ask anything of me. That was a form of self care to say, I'm taking this time for me. I don't care what's going on. Now, we're not talking about if the house is burning down or something like that, but You get me. You know that you have to take time for yourself. So making it stick is keeping yourself as a priority even when it is rough. I have literally been crawling on the floor for almost a month dealing with this virus. And I struggled to make myself a priority because I wanted to continue to do my regular routine, to do my regular schedule. But part of my self care was allowing my mind and my body to rest. So you have to be attentive to your body and yourself and what you need and give your body just that. So you make it stick by making yourself a priority and being consistent even when it's hard, being disciplined when it's hard. A lot of times we say we're not motivated to do something. I went to a training, a CEU training for my license, and the presenter was talking about how we don't have to be motivated to do things. We always think, "Oh, I didn't go to the gym because I'm not motivated." If I did not go to the gym every time I was not motivated, nobody would ever see me in the gym. So it's not the motivation, it's the discipline. You don't have to be motivated to do something. You just have to do it. The motivation can come later, but it is not a necessity in order to do something. We don't have to be motivated to do something. We just have to do it. If we didn't go to work when we weren't motivated to, would we go? Some people say, well, the money motivates me, but I get that. But some days you're not in the mood to go to work. What if you didn't go to work every time you? We have to do the things that again are a priority. Okay. So what role does self care play in achieving personal and professional goals? It plays a huge role because you ever heard the saying, you take you with you wherever you go? So, in order to achieve your personal and professional goals, you have to take yourself because you take yourself. Yourself shows up in those personal, and yourself shows up in those professional spaces. So there have been times where our personal lives spill over into our workspaces. That means that we are not managing ourselves. That means that we are not doing what we need to do to keep our problems or our personal life out of our professional life. So it plays a huge role. You have to manage the different versions of self. So there are components to self, like parts to self: psychological, spiritual, financial, social, and there are different versions of self: the private self, the public self, and the secret self. And so how we show up, in our professional spaces, we might need to show up as our secret self, or we might need to show up as our private self. In our personal lives, we can show up in our private self or our public self. So the role that self-care plays is it helps us to keep the versions of ourselves that exist intact and to show up in the proper spaces. We've all had coworkers that come to work. You ask them how was their day and good morning, and they're gonna tell you their whole life story, and you're like, why are you sharing this at work? Because they are not honoring the part of self that understands that our public self is not an appropriate venue for work. We have to kind of scale back on the things that we share. That version of self may not always be appropriate for work. So self care plays a huge role because it affects how we show up in those different spaces. And so we have to honor ourselves, the versions of self and the components of self, so that we show up properly in those spaces. And the last question that I have that I found from my research is, what are some affordable self care ideas for women on a budget? I actually did do a video about that. So for women on a budget, and a budget is not just time. I mean, not just money, it's also time. A lot of us, we're all on a budget um, with money. Everybody has a budget with money. Even millionaires have a budget. If I got $1 in my pocket, that's not about $1 that you have. So therefore, you have to have a budget. So I think that the most difficult thing from a budgetary stance is the budget of time. Time is a very precious resource, and a lot of us don't have time. Um, uh, we arguably don't have time for our self care regimens. And so um, part of it is because we don't make time, part of it is because of our perception of self care as something that is time consuming, something that we don't have time to do. We don't want to add on to our long list of demands and things that we have to do. So we don't have time to budget. It's not always about money, it's about time. So my video kind of addressed that. Some affordable self-care ideas for women on a budget. We all go grocery shopping. Some of us get our groceries delivered. Some of us, go pick up groceries. So I think it was self care for busy women. I'm not sure what the exact title was, but it was about while we are doing the things that we have to do, that we do regularly, we can practice self care during that. So, like in the grocery shopping, you can go into the travel bins and you can get like a little mask, or you can make a sugar scrub out of sugar and essential oil. So these are affordable ways in the interest of money and of time that we can practice self care. So when you go on grocery shopping, start looking around for things that you can pick up for self care. There are wonderful little candle sections. In a lot of these grocery stores, you go to the spa section, you can go to the makeup section, the hair section. If you start to open your eyes to um, practicing self care, you'll see a lot of things that were in your face, but you'll be able to see them now because you're looking for them. Now, I use this example, I believe, in the video. You know how, like, if you're shopping for a vehicle, you go and you say, okay, I'm gonna get this vehicle. You start looking at the vehicle, maybe on like cars.com or another one of those websites where you're looking at cars, and then you buy the car, or you just decide that you're going to get this car. You start seeing this vehicle everywhere. Are they suddenly appearing? No. It's just that you're opening your eyes to see what was in your face all along. So, like if you go to like a TJ Maxx or like a Marshall, say you want to go get a winter coat, we all go clothes shopping. Or even if you are online, start thinking of some little things for you that you can pick up. I remember when, I first became a mother and we all get into mommy mode where everything becomes about the baby. Everything is about the baby. When we totally forget about ourselves and we focus on this little baby that is the joy of our worlds, and we want to make sure that they have everything. And we forget about ourselves. We forget about the person that we used to be before we had this baby. And so I remember I would talk to my mother and I would tell her this long list of things that I would get my daughter. And she would listen because my mother is such a sweet, patient, attentive lady. And she would listen and she would say at the end, okay, so what did you do for you? And I'm like, what is this lady talking about? What did I get for me? I'm telling her what I got for my baby. She said, that's your baby and you're my baby. Now, I'm 50 years old now and she still called me her baby. And, you're going to always be your mother's baby. So she did, kind of drill in my head, even with all of the things that you're doing for this baby, you have to take care of you. So the things that we do on a budget, what you have to budget is your time. Your time is what you don't want to let go of. That's what I struggle with. It wasn't the money, it was the time. So while you're doing the things that you do, those are the things that you can do. Like as long as you honoring yourself and what you want, affordable. You can go to Starbucks and get your favorite cup of coffee. I think Starbucks might have been the wrong example because Starbucks and affordable might not go on the same sentence. Or you can, you can go get your, your favorite drink, or, buy you a pair of fuzzy socks. Even if you go visit the dollar store, you can find things for you if that's what you're looking for. So the budget of time and the budget of creating mental space for yourself to have self-care as a priority. So I think that the biggest takeaway is that you have to have a mindset shift in how you view yourself and how you view self care. And I am here to help you do that. I didn't want to take up a lot of your time. I know in the beginning I said, or in the description rather, I said that I have some exciting news. The exciting news is I have written a journal. It is called Watch Your Mouth, and it addresses our words and our thoughts. It's and the to purchase it is in the description below. But more exciting news is that I am writing an ebook because I am fully committed to helping self care become a priority in your life. So the title of the book is Self Care, the Prequel. So it basically addresses what we need to do to have our self care routines stick. The things, the foundation, how to set a foundation so that we can have our self care routines be continuous, something that we do over time, and something that kind of changes as we change, something that is dynamic. So to get on the waiting list, there's going to be an email waiting list because this ebook is going to be launching soon. I'll say that it is soon. I'm not going to reveal the date now. There is a link for you to sign up for the email to get on the waiting list. It's also a newsletter, so I'll be sharing some updates, some self care tips, and you'll get the inside scoop of the new developments that are going on. So sign up for the email if you want to be on the waiting list for this ebook that I am in the process of writing, for you to really take hold of this self care thing. Please leave a comment and let me know what you like to see. Let me know what you like to hear, because I am here to help you. I want to use the tools and the experiences that have helped me and have literally saved my life in self care. I want those to be something that can be helpful to you, so you can impact your life and be more satisfied in life. I thank you for spending this time with me on this wonderful Saturday night. I will resume making videos and bringing the content that I think that you want to see. Let me know what you want to see. And thank you for joining me on Renew with L. Everyone have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.